And we are live. Hello, everybody. The lighting doesn't seem to be too good in here for me, but we are here today to talk with Lisa Durst about getting unstuck. So you guys had a chance to see her story and hear a little bit about her. Earlier this week, we were chatting with Jennifer Dittman, and today we've got Lisa. So guys, as you are tuning in, you know the rules. Hashtag I am here and drop your name so we know that you're here. If you watch this on the replay, hashtag replay, and let us know that you tuned in. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. I'm going to tag a few people. I don't see anybody yet, but I'm sure we will have a few eyes in a few seconds. Okay, I got a message from her. It's also Saturday.
Yeah, no, I know.
I know.
And it's a busy day for me too. We have a stove being delivered, a refrigerator.
Oh, are you getting a new kitchen too?
Mm.
Yeah, Joe is too. Everybody's getting new kitchens.
We redid it. We remodeled it a few months ago, and now we're finally doing the appliances. So I'm happy.
That's fun. All right, I'm gonna just. I guess there's no viewers. I will kind of just get rolling because some people might just watch it on the replay. But let me just see if I can tag a few people in this. Turn the volume down so I'm not competing with myself. I'm so glad you got your ignition.
Yeah, it's yummy.
All right. Jacqueline's here. Hey, Jackie. See why you couldn't go live at this time? All right. Well, we have one player. Jackie, can you do me a favor being you're on here? I would love it if you could give us a hand and tag all the newbies in here. Hi, if you could tag all the newbies in here while we get chatted to make sure that they get on this call, that would be amazing. And let me know. All right. Lisa, so tell us a little bit. Well, let's get going because some people may watch this on the replay. Tell us a little bit about like how you were stuck. I mean, let's face it, like you have you have a great job. You've always been into fitness and I mean, you work in mental health. Like, how does that happen?
It's funny that I was thinking about it this morning when I was walking, and I was trying to kind of figure out, how did I get stuck? Because I've really always been about since 2000, I think 6. I said, really fairly healthy and fairly fit, nothing extravagant, not the muscle that I have now for sure. And really, what happened and I think I stopped taking care of me. So I am in mental health. So I do take care of people all the time. That's what I do. And I work inpatient psych. And so, I'm working 15 hours a day sometimes. And instead of taking care of me in a healthy way, my taking care of me was coming home and drinking a glass of wine. I truly believe, and this is the insight that I got this morning, is that most of it, that was the slippery slope, was the alcohol, and really leaning into that instead of leaning into what I knew to be true. So just being too busy, feeling like I just didn't have time, and I have so much time. Just not paying attention to the little cues that led me down that slippery slope to just be kind of complacent about taking care of myself.
I love what you just said because you just hit on something that I get in my DMs all the time, and I hear this a lot as I said with my hands on my hips, no time. And yet anybody that just tuned in would have heard what you said and said, well, you were working 15-hour days, Lisa, of course you don't have time. But it's funny how we actually do, because when we take away all the little things that we're doing that kind of suck up the time around it, we find that we actually do have time. And then the interesting point was, I'm wondering if you discovered like, well, I have time to come home and drink a glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly. I probably spent 3 hours a night just watching TV, sipping on a glass of wine. A glass, I say. Um, so, and it's just, it makes me laugh now because I spent a lot of time with a bottle of wine, and and it wasn't, I honestly, and this too was, I truly started feeling, I don't want to say a hypocrite, an imposter. I wasn't living, as I said in my post, the life that I was preaching to people. I was saying, don't do this. And I would talk to people who would come into detox and depressed and not feeling good. And I would go home and I'd walk upstairs every single night and go, something has to change. I can't, I'm not okay. And yet I just kept doing the same thing over and over again.
But it's so easy and it's so true. And I think it's so important. So we've got a couple of viewers here. Hello, ladies. Make sure that you hashtag I am here and let us know who you are. Lisa and I are just talking about how she got unstuck. So like to circle back to your story, like I think, like I said, so many women talk about lack of time, but then also like look at the field that you were in. And I don't think it's just necessary. I think this can be applicable to everybody. Like it's kind of what I was talking about last night. We give so much. We're always pouring out of our cup and we fail to pour back into our own cup. And that's a lot of energy that we expend that we're not putting back into ourselves. Therefore, it leads us down this slippery slope where we just don't know what to do anymore. So, I mean, for some, it might be a bag of chips or a pint of ice cream, a bottle of wine, whatever. But then we start to tell ourselves these stories, and it's not an easy flip of the switch either. No matter what our career is. And, that's like what I like to coach women on a lot of times too, is it starts and ends right here. Absolutely. So I love that you said that. Yeah. And it's about, sometimes we just need the extra support.
Sure. Well, and everything kind of fell into place so unbelievably because I was just feeling, and I wrote in there too, about how I just didn't feel good in my own skin. I would put on my military uniform and I felt icky, tight, and I was worried about this upcoming fitness test, and I wasn't anywhere near ready for it, and I knew I wasn't, and I would do this like weird, like not eat like all weekend long. And the less I ate, I was like, oh, yay. And then I'd lose a pound or two and I'd be like, oh, this is great. And then I lifted my arms one day and I was like, oh my God, like this is not okay. And so we just happened to have our annual training and I walked into the unit and Dawn was like looking amazing. And, it just kind of, I didn't have a struggle changing once I made the decision. It was making the decision. And it did take me, I probably spent from January to July just really feeling depressed and sad about where I was and knowing what I needed to do, but I just didn't have the tools right there to do it. I needed a push. I needed support.
Yeah. No, I think it's so true. And sometimes it is, that's another thing that I talk about, and I'm glad you're bringing this up too, because a lot of times, women will say to me, I'll do it when. And there's always the when. I'll do it, or it's like right now, I'll do it after the holidays. Right. I'll do it when I have a little more money. I'll do it when I have more time. And all of these things, like I'm very blunt if you don't know that about me already. So, I mean, I'm very straight up with them and I'm like, then it won't ever happen because there will never be enough money. There'll never be enough time. The holidays will come and go. Like I just told a young lady yesterday afternoon, I said, you can wait till after the holidays because you think you're going to be less busy and have more time and be able to enjoy the holidays. I said, but wouldn't you rather have a coach through the holidays to help you so you don't wind up on the other end of it 10 pounds heavier and even more depressed? And the reason I bring this up is not to insult anybody, but that's what happens. Like, and you just said it, like it compiles, like you said, you spent from January to July, and then it's just more guilt, right? And it like boils downhill because you're like, fuck, I didn't do this. Fuck, I didn't do this. And you feel worse and worse and worse. And you get more and more and more weight. And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
You keep looking and going, I wish I would have did that 16 weeks ago, because you're watching your best friend that just transformed and going, I could look like that if I had just said yes.
Right.
I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, this is like where I leaned in when you said that, because I hear that so much. And I'm like, rip the Band-Aid off.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, and again, doing what I do, I know change is hard. Change is tough. We get comfortable in our own kind of routines and those things. But for me, I think the biggest thing was I felt like I could do it myself, and that this weird binge eating, sugar eating, not eating, I'd run 2 miles and I was like, oh, I ran today. I just was like, I can do it myself. And I tell people all the time, I don't care if you're a therapist, you need a therapist, probably. We all need somebody to help us sort of get unstuck. But the thing is right here. I tell my patients constantly, you are what you think. You say you are what you eat, you are even more, you are what you think. And I couldn't get that barrier out of my head that I was just 51, 50 at the time before I started. So I was 50 and I was just going to be, okay looking for 50, and it would be fine. And my husband here's the other thing. My husband's like, you look great. You're hot. You don't need to worry about, making these big changes. And so it's not that he wasn't supportive, but he was loving me for what I was. But guess what? I wasn't loving him back because I was miserable.
Yeah.
He told me the other day, he's like, you're like a different person. He's like, who are you? Like, you're happy, you're running around, you don't take an hour to get ready, because I feel good. I just, feel good. And mindset.
Yeah,
That's how you get unstuck. You decide you want to do that.
Yes, I love it. Jackie's like right along there with you right now. She's like, she just said it was her, and she's like, oh my God, I felt the same thing. Yeah.
And I wanted to say this because I wrote this in there, and I don't want to be all over the place, but honestly, I created this fear of everything, and I wrote that in there, and I don't know how well I wrote it, but I was like scared of food. I was scared of when they would say potluck at work. I was like, oh, and I was scared. I was just scared to make any choices at all. And now I feel like I am completely in control of my life. I can control if I have, I haven't put a piece of sugar in my mouth, and I sit by it all day long. I don't want it. It's unbelievable, the difference in what I think and how I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you've hit on like so many valuable points, like going back to what you said about your husband, like, a lot of times, and this just came up, I was talking with somebody about this earlier, just about like myself in general. And, people will support you no matter where you are, if they love you. But what you just hit the nail on the head. But what we were also talking about is it's about you and how you feel about yourself. And it's not what anybody else thinks or feels or sees in you. It's about you, because you just hit the nail on the head. And I've been through this experience myself. When you feel in control and happy, I think she might have froze. There she goes. Yeah. And then you change inside. I love what you said too, because people notice that you change from the inside out. It's so much more than a weight loss, physical journey. I love that.
Absolutely. And people, and I have so much support. I mean, everybody at work, my husband is amazing. He doesn't give me a hard time when I spend 2 hours at the gym. He doesn't, and it's been great. I have all the support, but I will get people to say, you're getting too thin, or, is it about your looks? And I'm like, I'm a woman. We all care about how we look. Like, I'd be a liar if I said I didn't feel like, ooh, look at my abs. But it's so much more. It getting to a point in my life where I feel free and I feel good in my own skin is the how you look is just such a, it's a byproduct. It's a bonus that you get. It's
Yeah.
feel inside. So
It so is. Jackie just put LOL. People say I need to feed you. I used to get that comment all the time too. When I'm lean and I think, and I, you know what, so two things I want to hit on. You probably scared the shit out of a few people when you said 2 hours in the gym. And remember, like everybody, so like, but that is your therapy. So I want to call that out. That is your choice. That is your therapy. You take the time. It's like your church. I do the same thing. I'm in a gym for a couple hours a day, but that's my choice.
sure.
And I may not, it's because I kind of like take my time through there. I'm doing my thing. And that's like, I don't want to say I'm terrible. I'm really working out hard, but like that's what I need that time. Like I need that time in the gym.
Sure.
I get that. So everybody know that you don't have to spend 2 hours. Or some of us that just really like it. But like the other thing about the thin piece too, I can't remember. There's a saying about that. And I wrote a post about it one time too, like there are always going to be people that say that. And generally it's because they're slightly uncomfortable with their own selves. And they don't, you know what I mean? And that's like something you have to remember, because the funny thing is this is what I used to think. I don't know about you, Jackie or Lisa. In my mind, and sometimes I would just say it, I'm like, I probably eat more than you. Like, I need to feed you. Probably not. I eat probably more than you. And then when I would start to tell them what I ate, they were like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I'm just eating the right stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, you have 2 refeed meals a week now.
I know, and I know I'm still struggling to put weight on, and but it's funny because, and it literally just happened the other day, because the one you saw in my video, anybody who watched the challenge, one of my doctors always does push-ups with me. We do pull-ups, and we do, like, we'll walk in the door and be like, push-up time, and so somebody came in and said, oh my gosh, you're getting so skinny. I was like, skinny? I was like, I just did 35 hand release push-ups. And I did do 35. And so I'm like, it's not about skinny. It's about being fit. And I'm not skinny. That's like a bad word for me.
No, it's very true.
Yeah.
No, and not to like go that direction. But it is very true. It happens. Like when I'm very lean, I get the same thing. You know what I mean? But it's a perception. But I probably have more muscle on my body, as do you, and as do Jackie or all of the girls in here. Like more muscle than anything. It's just the perception is there when the body fat percentage goes down and you start to get a little bit more ripped looking. Which, by the way, is really the moral of the story here. Like that is really so. Like you guys that are working with me, that is really what you came to me with, and that is really how my program works. I work on not having you specifically lose weight, but more lose the body fat, maintain and grow the muscle, which speeds up the metabolism, which aka at 50, I'm sorry, I called you 54, that's how old I am.
I was like, I'm only
51. The point here, and everybody needs to hear this, Lisa is 51 years old. I'm 54. She's 51. And if you heard what she said, we actually are pumping the brakes on her because her metabolism is running at a top-notch speed right now. So at the age of 51, this young lady within, I don't know, you've been with me for how long now?
Like 108 days.
Something like that, has managed to not just lose the weight, but it was all body fat. She's jacked. You heard her in the beginning. She's never been this fit before, so she certainly isn't skinny. She's just lean. She's lost the body fat. So if you're tuning in and you feel like you're too old, it's too late, it's unachievable, menopause has gotten tapped in, all of that stuff I call bullshit, because right here, like, well, there's me, but then there's also, Lisa and several other tribe members that we, there's so many to mention. Your coworker Stacy, and well, there's Don. We've got Don. he's our guy in the tribe. But yeah, and Jackie, everybody. So I think that's like huge,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and I think for like just to kind of circle back to getting unstuck, I think it literally is making a decision and not there are no excuses. I love your non-negotiable kind of philosophy. It's everything that I teach the people that I talk to. Holistically, you need to take care of yourself. You have to have non-negotiables in your life. Are you going to allow somebody to hurt you? Are you going to allow alcohol or drugs in your life? And so just making a decision that I'm going to live and live well, and I'm going to take care of my body the way that it deserves to be taken care of, versus just giving into what everybody is doing. A week into this program, I went on vacation with my husband's family, and everybody was like, "Aren't you gonna drink a little? Aren't you gonna have some of this great food?" I mean, all they did was eat and drink, and I was like, "I'm happy. I feel good. This is. I've made a decision, and there was no going back."
No. And it's not easy, to make the decision. I mean, I do remember you had messaged me a few times during that time, but that's, why you hire a coach.
Yeah.
So help you get through those.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. So, I mean, yeah, I think in closing, to get unstuck, I mean, really what you're saying is, it's what we've been saying all along. You've got to make the decision.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not rocket science. It's not anything. I'm not going to
Drop
I'm not going to give everybody an epiphany. It was literally looking in the mirror and going, I'm not happy. I need to change. Something needs to happen. What does that look like for me?
Mhm.
And that was you in this program, and giving up the alcohol and just really focusing on living well, living healthy. So
No, and I think and like Jackie says, you do. You look amazing. You've been kicking ass. So do you, Jackie, though. I will have to say that. Yes. Somebody else just said, yes, commit and remember why you hired a coach. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I so appreciate you guys. We have a few minutes left before we have to close, because I actually have another coaching call with the full tribe. So if you guys have any questions, we can answer them really quick right now. If there's anybody, I see there's like 5 of you on here, and welcome, guys. Make sure you hashtag I am here. If you watch this on the replay, if you've got any questions, drop them here, even on the replay. Jackie or Lisa and I will come back and check to answer the questions. But if you've got any right now, here we are. I'm not sure who we all. Oh, we do have some new comments. Oh, Amber was here. Amber. We all have to send a lot of love to Amber. She had a little bit of an accident lately. But she's doing well, everybody. She's doing well, just a little banged up. Recovering. Oh boy. All right, guys. So thank you very much, Lisa, for being here. I loved you sharing your story. Everybody that showed up, thank you very much for being here. If you got some value, do me one big favor and drop some fire below for Lisa. I think she killed this and dropped a bomb of information on you guys. Peace, love, and protein. See ya.
bye.
Bye.